Hey there, hands-on transition fans. So in the next two instructional videos, I'm going to show you the two resource platforms that I'm using for distance learning this year. So we're going to talk about my ELA resource and the math resource that I'm using. So I'm going to be using this year Epic School, which is my ELA resource. It's amazing for reading. And then we are also going to be talking about Splash Learn, which is the math resource that I'm using for my distance learning platform. So let's get started. In this instructional video, I'm going to show you how to use the program Epic for reading in your distance learning classroom. So I've chosen Epic because it gives you a lot of different resources, including videos and audiobooks and Read to Me, and of course your traditional book. So it has a ton of different resources, and you can level students from their AR level, by grade level, or by free choice. So it's got a ton of options, and it's excellent as a distance learning resource. So we're going to start an account from scratch as a teacher in this video. So let's get started. So I'm going to start us off on a Google search page, and all we're going to put in is Epic reading. And that's going to take us to the official Epic site. Let's go ahead and click on this. And this is Epic's homepage. So we're an educator, so we're going to go to Educator, get it free. And then on this page, you're going to go ahead and fill in all of your information. So I'm just making a test account right now so that you can see how it works. But when it comes to choosing the grade level, if you're a special education teacher like I am, you don't necessarily teach a single grade level. So I just try to go for the general grade that most of my students read at. But this doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just is a default setting. You can choose any grade level you want for students to read from. And you can see when you click on the reading level system, we have a bunch of options here. We can do AR, DRA, F&P, grade level, Lexile, or even none. I like to go with grade level because most of my students read at a similar grade level, and it's just easiest for me, but you can choose whatever your district or your school is using, so it's got a lot of great options. So then once you have all that filled out, we're just going to hit continue. And then we start creating our account by using our email address. So for this account, I am just using an email address that is a test one for our school. So you'll want to put in your teacher email address here. So we are in the My Students part of my dashboard. So I'm in as My Teacher dashboard, and then I'm just in the My Students section. And this is where you can do things like add students over here. You can create groups. You can archive last year's classes. We can go to our daily reading logs, student logs, assignments, and quizzes. So this is where you're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for the classroom and where you can find all of your data, which is something we all love. So when we click on the Daily Reading tab, here we can see a list of our students' names, which I've had to block out for privacy. But you can see each day how much they've been reading and days that are 20 minutes or more over the course of your week. So this is really cool. I can check in on kids, see what they're reading each day. So even if I find out that they're reading, so they've submitted their Epic assignment, I can see that maybe they only read for 8 minutes that day, and that's not really cutting it for our classroom. So this is a really good way to keep track of students reading at home. The next thing we're going to take a look at is our Students Log tab, and I'll walk you through that. So here we are in the Students Log tab, and this gives me a summary of how much the students have been reading. So I can see here that this student has finished 19 books in 1.9 hours, and this is the last time they logged in. So I'm able to check to see if students are keeping up on their reading or not. And we can see that this student here has only finished one book and read for 0.8 hours. So that's something that I can bring up with him the next time we meet. You can even go to the download student summaries, and this is great for if you're going to archive the class or if you have an IEP meeting coming up, you can download how much the student has read and bring that kind of data into your meeting. So from here, let's take a look at our assignments tab. So here I can see all of the books that I've assigned to students and how many different students I've assigned them to. So we can see that this book was assigned to one student and it's been completed. This book has been assigned to one student, hasn't been. This one's been assigned to 3, and so on. So these are where I can see all of the assignments, which is great. And of course, they have different ways you can sort by assignment name, by assigned, and by completed. So the last tab I'm going to show you is the quizzes tab. So in the quizzes tab, I can see all of my data here for quizzes that are made by either myself or by other teachers for the ends of the books. And we'll get to how to do that a little bit later. So in this area, I can see which students have taken the quiz, average score, related assignment. So this is the book that was read that goes along with it, and the date it was assigned. This is another great space to check out your data. And I see here that a lot of my kids are not taking their quizzes, so that's also good to know. So from here, let's do a little bit of exploring, and I'll show you how to start assigning books to students. So we're going to go up here to the Explore button, which is my favorite, and that's how we kind of just get a feel for what's out and what's popular right now in books. So up here, Epic shows you what's new in their program, and you can scroll around up there. And they've got some books of the week and other great choices that are new right now in their program. And down here, we can see that you can sort by recommended books, AR reading level, which is what I've chosen for my classroom, read to me, videos, and audiobooks. The difference between a read to me and an audiobook is that the audiobook doesn't have the words with it. It's just somebody reading out loud. And the read to me is follows along with the pages. So I explore by grade, and you can choose depending on what your kiddos are reading at, what level. It goes all the way up to 7th plus. So I usually stick up around 2nd grade because that's where most of my students are. Here we have all our new releases, and these ones are generally books that Epic has written themselves. And then we can go down here, and there are a couple different tabs. It sorts quite a bit like Netflix, so if you're familiar with Netflix, it's like that. So these are books that I have looked at already and assigned to students. These are books that have been recommended based on the preferences and the choices I've made for kids. And we've got we've got a bunch of different categories here. There's a read to me category and so on. And if you scroll down, here's where we get into some of the videos, which is fun. They even have ones that are math-based, so counting and other stuff like that. Here's what's popular lately with everybody else, popular series. So there are a lot of great sorting options for you through here. And just take a quick scroll down so you can see. And it goes on and on. So let's say that I want to assign a book. So we're going to come back up here and we'll pick one of these guys. All right, let's take a look at this one. Looks fun. So I can go up here and I can either hit this button, which will save it to my favorites. So if I want to read it to the class or I want to save it for something later, I can hit this. Or I can go straight to the assign button. So let's give that a shot. So from here, I'm going to select my test student here, or you can assign it to the entire class. So you have 2 options there. So let's assign it to my test student. And we can see down here that it tells me that you have assigned this to 1 student. And from there, I can manage my assignments and view student progress in my library, which is pretty cool. So let's go back up to the top here, and when we hover over our Explore button, you can explore by subject and topic as well, which is pretty cool. So if you go to the English language, you have a bunch of options. You have options in science. We'll just kind of hover over these real quick so that you can see all of the different categories that are choices for us, and even differently, which is excellent. All right. So next I want to show you how to search for books that have quizzes already, because this is super useful because it's very time consuming to make your own quizzes, even though I will show you how to do that. First, let's search for books that already have them. So from here, let's take a look at books that have quizzes. So say we want to read about sharks. We clicked on sharks, and what we can do from here is that if we just hover over a book, you can see all of its information. So the age level, reading level, number of pages. Does it have a quiz? Yes. So this is a book that's going to have a quiz, which I can assign to a student. So let's take a look at what a quiz looks like. We open up the book. This looks like it is a read to me book. So this book will read to me, and we can take a look at what that looks like.
Sharks. Many kinds of sharks. Here comes a whale shark.
I love how it picks up the words and makes them big like this. I can actually click on a word and it'll say the word for me and give a definition, which is very cool for beginning readers. So if we scroll back to the end of the book, we'll be able to see the quiz. But something I want you to know is that if a student clicks through a book too quickly, it won't let you move forward. So if I move all the way to the end of the book, you can see here that it said read a little longer. So it wasn't going to let me take the quiz because I didn't read for long enough. So it has this nice little fail-safe measure that prevents students from just flipping through the pages and then telling you that they finished reading a book. So let's take a look at this quiz. What do whale sharks eat? So this is information we would know if we had read the book. You can see if we get a correct answer, what that looks like. What is special about the hammerhead shark? Let's say he eats people. I think we know that's the wrong answer. So it tells me what I got wrong and what the correct answer was. So you can bust through this quiz, and then that information will go to your student's account. Okay, so we made it to the end of the quiz. Shows me what I got right and my 3 out of 5. So I can finish that. And now I've completed a book. And that information will go to the student account, which you'll be able to research later for some excellent data. So the last thing I want to show you is how to make your own quiz. So if we take a look at this book here, we can see, if we hover over it, that this book does not have a quiz at the end. So what I can do up here, and you can see all my little options here, is create a quiz. So that's what this question mark is. So in every book, you're going to have this little menu or toolbar up here, and it will tell you that this goes back to your main menu. This is how we create a quiz. This is how we favorite or add it to a collection. We can assign it. We can hide this book so that students can't do it yet, or we can share it. So we were going to create a quiz. Let's start that. So look a shark. We're just going to call it that. Okay, and we will start by adding a question. And then we can actually go over here. We can click through the book, which will help us create the quiz. So let's see, it says sharks swim, sharks are fish. So let's ask that question. True or false? Sharks are fish. And we can put in true for our correct answer and our incorrect answer. Excuse me. We'll go here. Okay. And then we are done with our first question. So if we want to look through the book a little bit, oops, you can go forward here and you will find another question. All right. Let's see. Let's try one more question. So we'll add another one here. And this one we can do a multiple choice. So a shark's back fin helps it, and we'll put in our correct answer, swim. balance, smell, chew. Okay, and there we have our next question. So we can test our quiz here. True or false, sharks are fish. True. And our next question, now see, it mixed up the answers for me, so even though you put the correct answer at the top, when you're making the quiz, it's not going to be in that order every time. So if you have those little smart kids that pick up on patterns, they won't be able to do that with this. So we know that a shark's back fin helps it swim. All right, we got 100%. So you can add quite a few questions on those depending on what your kids are capable of answering. This is amazing for taking, if your kid has a specific reading goal, like a WH questions goal or a sequencing events goal. You can make a quiz that's all WH questions, or you could make a quiz that's all sequencing the events of the story, and you can get specific data for those goals, and this will organize that data for you, and that's something that you can go to and use in your progress monitoring. So Epic is an excellent tool. So the last thing I'm going to show you real quick is your library, which is up here on the right side of your menu bar. So we just clicked on that, and this shows me all of the books that are my favorites, so things that I've hearted, essentially. And these are the collections that I've made and assignments. So these are the books that I've assigned to kids. I have one for different topics. I haven't made any topics yet this year. Recent books that I've looked at, and then anything that I would have wanted to hide from student access, which I have not done that yet this year either. So this is another great tool that just kind of keeps things all in one place for you. All right, so that's Epic. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about it. And of course, Epic itself has some great videos that can help walk you through if you have further questions. Thanks for watching.